Good morning, Ken Artizone. Today, Thursday, January the 14th, 2021. I'm doing another video for my YouTube channel. This one's interesting. It's a little difficult, but I think we'll have a good time doing it. I came across with 67 names of sports athletes and their top performances for their career. Let me repeat again. 67 athletes, remarkable performances for their whole career, total. What do I mean? I tried to come up with the top 50 athletes of all time. That's hard. You have different sports. What is an athlete? According to my definition, an athlete is a person, according to a definition of the dictionary, an athlete is a person who competes in one or more sports that involves physical strength, speed, or endurance. How do you rank the top 50 athletes of all time? Because each sport is different and their strength and endurance. You can say that boxing is the hardest sport, but they don't box as much. Maybe 1 or 2 fights every 3 or 4 months. What about golf? You need the mental game and you need the physical strength and endurance to hit the ball. But how hard is golf as far as, do you see golf players sweating? I don't. How about in football? That's very hard, but they play 1 game a week and they practice during the week. To be tackled, to be a running back and get tackled, or a quarterback that gets sacked, that's pretty hard. But they only play 1 game a week. How about baseball? They play 7 games in 7 days. Maybe get 1 or 2 days off, then they play another 7 games, but they only play 3 hours at a time. And a lot of time you're sitting on the bench or you're in the outfield on defense. How about basketball? That's running up and down the court. Same with soccer, running up and down the field. That's endurance. How about track? How about people in the Olympics? That's pretty hard, but you have to train, and then you have the endurance test every 4 years. How about horse racing? How about other sports? You have wrestling, swimming, track. How do you compare all these sports and who's the greatest athlete? So what I decided to do was, I came up with 67 names with athletes who have done something remarkable in their career. Endurance, strength, character, set records. I was quite interesting at these guys. I'm going to rank them. Obviously, when I rank, some persons can be interchangeable. You can say, well, why is he number 67 and that other person's number 31? I would say in the ranking, I just kind of list them. Is one better than the other? You make the decision. I did come up with the top 10 that I think were absolutely incredible and remarkable for their career. You may disagree there. So when I get to about 10 down to number 1, I chose 10 people. Just absolutely incredible athletic ability, strength, endurance, and records they set. You're going to disagree with my top 5. That's okay. You can agree or disagree. Give me your ranking of top athletes of all time. Shall we get started? Countdown from number 67 all the way to number 1. There is one person I'm going to put in here. He's a mythical figure. Did he exist? and see what you think of this person. He's not number 67. He's just a person in Greek mythology. You know who I'm talking about? The name is Philopedius. Philopedius. He was a Greek messenger way back. 2,000 years ago? Don't know the exact time. But you know what he did? He wanted to announce to his country that the Persians got defeated in the Battle of Marathon. So you know what he did? He ran 26 miles straight without stopping to deliver the message. And that's the origin of the marathon race. Philopedius. And there is a legend that he may have ran barefoot through the hills and up the mountains, 26 miles. How about that? But he's not on my countdown because it's Greek mythology. Could be a true story, though. How about that? 67. Let's count down. See what you think of my list. These are athletes who have done something incredible, significant in their sport or field, and an acquired endurance and strength and stability and stamina. 67. Len Wickwar. Have you heard of him? The late 1800s and the early 1900s, he was a boxer. You know what he did? He fought in 470 boxing matches. Woo! And he won 346. No, his wins are 340, my apology. 340, and he lost 87 times. But the significant thing that for this boxer was he had 470 fights. Now, who he fought, we don't know. You know, they're keeping the boxing records. They say they don't know if some of these guys were legitimate boxers. But I think that's incredible. 470 boxing matches. You'll see when I count down, I'll have other boxers on there. And there's no way they reach 470 fights. A lot of these other guys only fought less than 100 times in their career. So I put him down, number 67. Okay? Let's count down. We'll get through this list. Bear with me. 67, Larry Bird. Now, I'm not going to say that he's better or worse than other players on the list. I just have him down on the ranking. But what did Larry Bird do? Won 3 NBA titles. But what I thought was significant with him was, in an era of basketball players, he won 3 most valuable player awards in a row. Among all the NBA basketball teams and players, he won 3 MVPs in a row. Nobody else has done that. 3 in a row? There are other NBA players that have won more awards. But for him to do it in a stretch of 3 times in a row, and he was a good shooter. So Larry Bird comes in at number 66 on the list. 65, Magic Johnson. I'll put him together because he played in the same era as Larry Bird. He had 1 MVP. Larry Bird had 3 titles, but Magic had 5 NBA titles. And he was an assist. He focused on assists. He only had 17,000 points in his career. But what's significant about Magic Johnson is that he accumulated over 10,000 assists in his career, passing the ball to his teammates, and he had remarkable skill finding open players, and then the player scores the basket. That's called an assist. So I've got Magic Johnson on my list. Plays 13 years in the league. He also had 2 gold medals. How about that? 10,000 assists. I think that's incredible. 64 on the list, Bill Shoemaker. You've heard of him? A horse racer or horse racing? He rides horses for 29 years in matches and races. And he wins 8,833 times. Wow. So I'm looking at a player that's done something athletic, riding a horse, but for 29 years and over 8,800 wins? You got to put him on the list. Bill Shoemaker. 63 on the list, Jack Johnson. Have you heard of him? I put him down because he was quite a fighter. His career record, 70 wins, 11 losses, 35 knockouts. Boxing is a very hard sport. You get into the boxing ring where 12 rounds and you're getting hit in the punch. You're getting punched in the stomach, the side of the face, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Jack Johnson, 70 wins. He was tough to beat. 62 on the list, Jerry West, NBA player. I have him on the list because for his career, Jerry West. Let's see, where are you, Jerry? I've got him on here. Here he is. Over 25,000 points, but I have him on here because he averaged 27 points a game for his career. That's very good. He's in the top 5 as far as scoring average for your career. So Jerry West, 61 on the list, counting down. Jimmy Connors, tennis. Why do I have him on the list? Well, according to the record books, he has 12 Grand Slams. He played tennis for 24 years, but he's number 1 in titles. 109 titles. Another guy's creeping up, and I'll get to him. But he's number 1 in titles, Jimmy Connors, okay? 60 on the list, Oscar Robertson, basketball. What is significant about him? He plays 14 years, 26,000 points, not bad. But he's number 1 in triple doubles, indicating for a game, he has points, rebounds, and assists, all in double figures. Triple doubles. 181 of them for his career, and he's number 1. Oscar Robertson, 59 on the list. Bobby Orr. Have you heard of him? Hockey. 12 years, 2 scoring titles, and 2 Stanley Cups. If you think of hockey, you think of Bobby Orr. Significant, okay? I'll move along here as best as I can. 58, Joe Montana, 4 Super Bowl wins in football. How many years does Joe Montana play? 16 years, 40,000 yards, 273 touchdowns. But what's significant about Joe Montana is when he got to the Super Bowl, he won it. 4 Super Bowls. Okay, 57 on the list, Ted Williams. 521 home runs, 7 batting titles, wins the Triple Crown. But what's significant about Ted Williams? In the top 5 of career batting average, 344, the splendid splinter, okay? 56 on the list. As I'm counting down, remember, one is not better than the other as far as ranking, but I'm just counting down, and I had to list these guys, so I put them down. Jackie Robinson comes in at number 56. What's significant about him? He's a good player. Jackie Robinson. How many years does he play? Where is he on my list? Jackie Robinson. I'm looking for you. Here he is. 10 years. Plays 1,362 games and gets 1,518 hits, 311 lifetime batting average. But Jackie was an athlete, and I've got him on here. Why? Because he played football, basketball, and baseball, and he was good. And track. Yeah. Football, baseball, basketball, and track. And he was good in all of them. And if he pursued a career in all of them, he would have excelled. So Jackie Robinson comes on the list, 56. 55, Bo Jackson. This is an interesting character, Bo. Plays 4 years in the football league, and he was pretty tough. 2,700 rushing yards, 16 touchdowns. But then he gets into baseball, and he shows that he's pretty good at baseball, too. Plays 8 years, 141 home runs, and a 250 batting average. If you can be good in one sport, pros, and then you make another pro sport, you're significant. Bo Jackson. And here's the other guy on my list. He comes in at number 54, Deion Sanders. Football and baseball. Deion plays 14 years in football. He plays defense, and he has 53 interceptions. To get an interception in a football game is very, very difficult. And for his career, he had 53 of them. Then he goes into baseball, plays 3 years, 260 batting average, 39 homers. Didn't play as long in baseball, but he made both. How many athletes can make the claim that I made pro football and I made pro baseball? I think of 2 or 3 or 4 maybe in the history of sports. Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders. How about those guys? Counting down. 53 on the list. Jim Brown. He was remarkable, but he only played 8 years. But listen to this. 118 games. He gets 12,312 rushing yards and 106 touchdowns in 8 years. Woo! He averaged 5 yards per carry for his career. Now, most running backs, what's their average? 2 yards, 3 yards, because you have to go over the whole career. But Jim Brown, 5 yards per carry. I think that's a record. If you have an accumulation of their stats for their career. 53 on the list, Jim Brown. 52, Jim Thorpe. What an athlete. I guess in rankings, you could say that he was one of the greatest athletes of all time. Why? Because he was in the Olympics, and he won the decathlon and the pentathlon. He played football. He participated in track. He also played baseball. He had the long jump, the javelin throw, the discus throw. He runs in the 100 meter, 200 meter, 440, 880, 1600. He runs a mile in 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Baseball, he has 6 years in baseball, 6 years in football, 18-year period. Jim Thorpe, one of the greatest athletes of all time as far as excelling, and not just one sport, but many sports. He was football, baseball, and track, and the Olympics. Jim Thorpe coming in, 52 on the list. 51, Willie Mays. 22-year career. Let's see, where's Willie Mays on my list here? I'll just ring off some of his stats. 660 home runs, over 3,000 hits, 300 lifetime batting average, 2,000 runs scored, 1,900 RBIs. Willie Mays. An accumulation of a career, and that's why I've got some of these guys on the list. They play 20, 22 years, and they just ring up all these numbers that show what their performance was. How about that? 50 on the list. This is interesting. Bruce Lee. Why do I have him on the list? I would say, who would you fear if you got into a fight? Who would you fear? the number one person you would fear if you got into a fight? Obviously, some of the top heavyweight boxers. But as far as a person who is the same height and weight as you, who would you fear? Bruce Lee. I don't think he ever lost a match. Obviously, it's martial arts. But you know what he's significant for? Bruce Lee? They said that he did 1,500 push-ups in a row without stopping. 1,500 push-ups in a row. And he did 400 push-ups in a row one-handed. And if you've seen his movies, as far as, you know, the chopping and the karate and the judo and the martial arts and flipping over, and Chuck Norris lost to him, and so did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They lost, and you've seen the movies. Bruce Lee, incredible athlete. Got him on the list. 49 on the list. John Cena. You heard of him? Wrestling. What did he do? He had over 2,200 wrestling matches. And you know what he did? He won 1,767 matches. And he lost 425 times. But as far as a wrestling, 1,767 wins. Ooh. John Cena, 48 on the list. Pele. Soccer. 3 World Cups. He plays in 1,363 soccer matches. And you know what he does? 1,062 goals in 1,363 games. Almost 1 goal per game. You know, in soccer, it's very difficult to score a goal. In fact, some of these guys may get, for a year's time, they may get 5 goals in a year. This guy, Pele, they say he's the greatest soccer player of all time. Probably so. 47 on the list, counting down. We'll get there. Barry Sanders. This guy plays 9 years in football. 15,269 yards in 9 years rushing, and 99 touchdowns. He averaged 5 yards per carry. You watch some of his highlights. Barry Sanders. But he quit after 9 years. 46, Stan Musial, baseball. Stan the man. 7 batting titles. What else does Stan do? 331 lifetime batting average, 3,600 hits in 22 years. I'm talking about longevity and endurance and remarkable performance. You got to put Stan Musial on the list. 45, Archie Moore, boxing. What's significant about Archie Moore? He fought and fought and fought. Like I said, a lot of boxers, only 50 matches in their career, or maybe 60, 70. But Archie Moore, I've got him on here. His career boxing record, 183 wins and 23 losses, 131 knockouts. Why do I have Archie Moore? Over 200 boxing matches. A lot of these guys don't last very long, and especially if you're going to get punched and banged around the round, and you have physical liabilities. If you box for a long time, and if you get hit in the head, you can get dementia and Alzheimer's and eventually die from boxing. But Archie Moore, talk about endurance and strength. 200 boxing matches and wins 183 of them. Okay. 44 on the list, Kobe Bryant. 20 years for the Los Angeles Lakers. 33,000 points, 5 NBA titles. But what's significant about Kobe Bryant? He scores 81 points in a game. In basketball, a lot of these guys, they average 10, 15, 20, and then the good ones average 25 points a game. If you can get 30 points a game, you're good. If you get 40, you're very good. You get 50 points in a game, you're upper class. You get 60, you're at another level. You get into the 70 points a game, and you're remarkable. But Kobe Bryant, one game, 81 points. Of course, the record is, we know, Wilt Chamberlain at 100, and I've got him on the list. I'll get to him. Okay, 43 on the list. Pete Rose. What do you think of Pete Rose? 24 years in the league, Charlie Hustle. But he has the most hits of all time, 4,256 hits. He had 200 hits a season 10 times in his career. I'm talking, this player had endurance, skill, and to get 4,256 hits, you got to put him as one of the greatest sports figures in history. 41 on the list, Tony Gwynn. I've got him on the list because he's got 8. He has 8 batting titles. Now in baseball, there's been over 15,000 players play, and very few will get batting titles. In fact, the most you can get, the most batting titles that have been available to acquire is 150, right? Because 150 years, National League batting title, and then the American League batting title. So that would be double. 300 batting titles are up for grabs out of 15,000 players. And Tony Gwynn gets 8 out of the 300 up for grabs out of 15,000 players. Do the math. Tony Gwynn, over 3,000 hits, 20 years in the league. 40 on the list, Hank Aaron. 23 years in the league, gets 755 home runs, over 2,000 RBIs. In fact, he's number 1 in RBIs all time. And what else does Henry Aaron do? He has a couple rings. He has over 3,700 hits. Not only the home runs, 755, but the hits, 3,771, and the most RBIs. So I put Henry Aaron on the list, along with Willie Mays and Stan Musial and Ted Williams. Okay. 39 on the list, Honus Wagner. He has 8 batting titles, 320, let's see what his career, 328 lifetime batting average, over 3,400 hits, plays 20 years. But I put him down because 8 batting titles. Wow. Okay. Counting down. 38, Nolan Ryan. 324 wins. He has over 5,700 strikeouts. That's number 1. And 7 no-hitters. He plays 27 years. He's a pitcher. And has 7 no-hitters and 5,700 strikeouts. Remarkable achievement in longevity for a career, okay? 36 on the list, Cy Young, pitcher. 22 years in the league, but 511 pitching wins. If you had 20 wins a season for 20 years in a row, that's 400 victories. So in 22 years, Cy Young gets 511 victories. He averages more than 20 wins per season. Had some 30-win seasons. Had 3 no-hitters. Got to put him down on the list. 35 on the list. Remarkable athletes and achievements for their career. Walter Johnson. What does Walter do? He's 20 years a pitcher. I've got him here. Let's see. 417 wins. But what's significant about him, he has 3,500 strikeouts. But he's number 1 in shutouts. 110 shutouts for his career. Walter Johnson. If you look at my videos on the best pitchers of all time, I think I list him number one, Walter Johnson, 34 on the list. Sandy Koufax, 12 years in the league. What's his career record? Koufax, I've got him here somewhere. 165 wins. He has 4 rings, 4 World Series rings. But you got to put him as far as dominance because he had 4 no-hitters in 12 years. Nolan Ryan had 7 in 27 years. If Sandy Koufax pitches 27 years and has a strong arm, how many no-hitters would he have? Well, if he does 4 in 12 years, he would have 8 in 24 years, right? If you do the math or the projection. I put him down. Sandy Koufax, 34 on the list. 33, Joe DiMaggio. Another player who doesn't have a long career, 12 years, 325 lifetime batting average. What's significant about Joe DiMaggio? 9 World Series rings in 12 years. Just every year, his team almost just wins it. Wins the World Series. Joe DiMaggio, 13 years, okay. 325 lifetime batting average. In 13 years, he has 2,200 hits. If he plays 20 years, he has over 4,000 hits. And, of course, we know the 56-game hitting streak, which will never be broken. 56 games in a row. Joe DiMaggio. Whew. 32 on the list. Johnny Unitas, football. What do you think of him? 18 years, 1 title. He won 3 MVPs, so he's the best in the league at that time. 40,000 yards, 290 touchdowns. Johnny Unitas, what a football player. 31 on the list. Mark Spitz. Heard of him? Olympics, a swimmer. What does he do? He wins 9 gold medals. Look, if you win 1, you're good. 2, you're very good. 3, you're in another league. But if you win 9, you're just in another atmosphere, or should we say another dimension. Freestyle, butterfly, swimmer, Mark Spitz. Woo, 30 on the list. Rocky Marciano, boxer. Never got beat. 49-0. You know, his first couple years, he has 11 fights in 1 year. That's a lot. That's almost like 1 a month. But then toward the end of his career, he just has a couple boxing matches. Like this is last year, he only had 2 boxing matches. But he goes undefeated, 49-0. I would like to retire. I'm a boxer, and nobody ever beat me in the ring. Too bad he didn't fight longer, because some of the other guys had 100 fights. All right, 29 on the list. Usain Bolt. Incredible. Is this the fastest man who ever lived? What does he do? Well, he goes into the Olympics, and you've got all these world-class runners, right? He's got to have the claim as the fastest man who ever lived on Earth. Maybe there was somebody 2,000 or 3,000 years ago that could run faster. But he runs the 100 meters in 9.58 seconds. And he runs the 200 meters in 19.19 seconds. And he wins 8 gold medals in the Olympics. Usain Bolt. Is this guy from our planet? You run 100 meters in under 10 seconds? Whoa. 28 on the list, Carl Lewis. He's a fast runner. What's his time? He ran the, I've got him down here. Carl Lewis, where are you? He won 9 gold medals. 4 Olympics, 100 meters, 200 meters, 4x100 meter. But he runs the 100 meter in 9.86 seconds. Usain Bolt, 9.58 seconds. These guys are incredible. 27 on the list, Jesse Owens. 1930 Olympics. He runs the 100 meter, long jump, 200 meter, 4x100 meter. He wins 4 gold medals. So Jesse Owens, you've heard his name. What an athlete he was. I wonder if if you had Jesse Owens, Carl Lewis, and Usain Bolt in the same running race, 100 meters, in their prime, who would win? Probably Usain Bolt, because he's a taller guy and his legs stretch longer. Counting down. 26, Tom Brady, football. This guy is incredible. He has been playing football for 22 years. Let's see. 20 years. 79,000 yards, and he's number 1 in touchdowns. 581 touchdowns. And he has 6 Super Bowl rings. How about Tom Brady? Coming in, number 26 on the list. 25, Pete Maravich. College basketball career. For 3 years in a row, he averages 44 points per game. Pete Maravich. Goes into the NBA, plays about 10 years. Not as good. But as far as a college athlete, and what a career in college. 44 points per game. And I think he ends up with over 3,700 points in 3 years in college. And no 24-second clock. That means the other team can hold the ball. And there was no three-point line. But what a player. Pete Maravich, I've got him on the list as far as athletic ability. 24, Mickey Mantle, 18 years, plays for the Yankees. 6 World Series titles, 536 home runs. Mickey Mantle. 7 rings, my apology. 18 years. But what's significant about Mickey Mantle? Half of his home runs, he had 536 for his career. Half of them he hit right-handed. And the other half, he hits left-handed. Switch hitter. And he hits it 400 or 500 feet from both sides of the plate. Now, other ball players can't make that claim, but Mickey Mantle can. Counting down. 23, Ben Hogan, golf. Why do I have Ben Hogan? He has 69 wins. Woo! 9 majors, 41 years on the tour. Missed some years with the military, I think. But he was a dominant golfer. Wow. Ben Hogan. Counting down. 22, LeBron James. I'll put him down. How many points does LeBron James have? He's still playing. 34,500 points, 4 NBA titles, 4 MVP awards. This guy is hard to stop. And it could be, if he keeps playing, he's only 36. If he plays another 4 years, he could have the most points in NBA history. LeBron James, I've got him down. 21 on the list, Jerry Rice, football. What did Jerry Rice do for his career? I've got him very significant. He plays 20 years. He has 3 Super Bowl rings, 197 touchdowns. But he's number 1 in receptions, 1,549 receptions. Jerry Rice. What good hands. Counting down, 20 on the list, Sugar Ray Robinson. Boxer, 15 years, over 200 fights, and he wins 173 times and 109 knockouts. His career boxing record, 173-19. Sugar Ray Robinson. I've got him down because of over 200 fights in his career. 19, Peyton Manning, football. Why do I have him down? Where's Peyton? I've got him. 18 years in the league. Over 71,000 passing yards and 539 touchdowns. 2 rings. If you could throw for over 70,000 passing yards, you got to put him on the list. 18, Arnold Palmer, golf. What's significant about Arnold Palmer? 62 titles and 7 majors. But in his prime, he was one of the best golfers of all time and the most recognized name in golf. 17 on the list, Roger Federer, tennis. 20 majors. He's number 1. There's another guy coming up, Rafael Nadal. He's going to maybe catch him one day. But I don't think Nadal is going to catch him in career wins, because Roger Federer has 103 victories on the tennis tour. Is that correct? Where are you, Roger? I've got you down on here. Roger Federer. There he is. 103 titles. Jimmy Connors has 109. So Roger could become number 1 greatest tennis player of all time. Right now he is, I think. 16 on the list, Mario Lemieux, hockey. Why? Where is he? I've got him. Where's Mario Lemieux? Let's see. There he is. 17 years. He has 5 Stanley Cups, 6 scoring titles, 690 goals, 1,033 assists, so 1,723 points for his career. But he does it in 17 years. Mario Lemieux. Debate whether him or Gretzky is the number 1 hockey player of all time. Lemieux is a little bigger, but Gretzky was a little faster. It's hard to determine on hockey. I never played it. Some say Gretzky and some say Lemieux, but I've got him down on my list. 15 on the list, Sam Snead, golf. Why? 82 victories on the tour. Sam Snead, that is number 1. 33 years, 7 Grand Slams. 7 majors. Tennis is Grand Slams. In golf, they call it majors. 7 of them. And he has 82 victories, number 1. Tied with Tiger Woods. Woods will beat him one day. 14 on the list, Michael Phelps, swimming. Is this guy from our planet? Swimming. He's in 4 Olympics. Where is he? Here he is. He has 23 gold medals. If you can win 1 gold medal in your career, you're good. Because you're competing against all the countries of the world, right? He has 23 of them, and he has 28 total medals. So he has some silvers and some bronze medals. You know, the butterfly, the freestyle, the medley, and the 4x100, right? 4 Olympics. Michael Phelps. Swimming. 28 Olympic medals. Whoa. 13 on the list, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, basketball. He has the most points, 38,000 points. And what else for Kareem? He has 6 MVP titles, and he has 6 NBA titles. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In college, he was pretty good too. UCLA, they win the title with him. So I think he had 3 years in college, 3 or 4, I'm not sure, I have to look it up. And then he plays 20 in the NBA and has the most points of all time. You got to put him down. 12 on the list, Muhammad Ali, boxer. What's his career record? 56-5. But he was a dominant heavyweight champion of the world, very dominant. 37 knockouts out of 56 wins. But he was hard to beat. And his personality, his brash personality, just said, I'm the greatest. Remember his proclamations? I'm the greatest. No one can beat me. And he had a stretch there where he was the heavyweight champion of the world for a long time in a row. I've got him down. Muhammad Ali, number 11, Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe, hockey. Why? Well, his career is incredible. What does Gordie Howe do? Got him down. I want you to listen to these stats of Gordie Howe. Where is he? Here he is. 26 years in hockey. 801 goals, 1,049 assists. He has 4 Stanley Cups. If you think of hockey, you got to think of 3 people. Gordie Howe, Wayne Gretzky, and Mario Lemieux. 10 on the list, Jack Nicklaus. What's his record? Jack. He's the one who has the most major golf tournaments. 18. Now, a major is different from the regular tournaments because in the regular you'll have average to good players, but in the majors you have the best players. And what does Jack Nicklaus do? He wins 18 of those, and he comes in. And he's got 73 golf victories in his career. But did you know that he came in second place 19 times? If he wins those 19, that means he would have had 92 golf victories, which would have been number 1 of all time. But Jack Nicklaus, unstoppable golf. Number 9, who beats him? Tiger Woods. 82 career victories and 15 major victories. He wins the Masters, which is one of the hardest golf tournaments. He wins that by 12 strokes over second place. That's how good he is. What's significant about Tiger Woods as far as athletic, strong ability? I've got him down on here. 22 years on the tour. 82 victories. And some of the years he's injured. Hurts his back. I think he had a bad leg. If he doesn't have any injuries, he has over 100 victories. But since he got injured, it slowed him down. But he's tied with Sam Snead, 82 victories. Tiger Woods, what a player and dominant